Their daughter kept pointing at the Husky. The Husky kept looking past her at something no one else could see. They thought the dog was distracted. He wasn't looking away from her. He was watching something happening inside her. Cora Linden was 2 years and 3 months old, and she had the particular verbal confidence of a toddler who has recently discovered adjectives. She narrated everything. The dog was blue. The sky was big. The crackers were not right. She pointed at things the way someone points, who wants the world to catch up with what they have already understood. The Husky's name was Frost. He was 3 years old, 60 pounds of silver gray and white fur, with the ice pale blue eyes that make people stop in the street. He was a dog that moved through a house like he owned it, easy and unhurried, the kind of dog that children love immediately and other dogs defer to. He had shared the house with Cora since she was 4 months old. He had never once done anything that required explanation. On the 7th of March, he started staring, not at Cora, past her, or more precisely, through her, at something in the space near her head at a level approximately 6 inches above her right temple. He tracked it. His ice blue eyes moved as if following something only he could see. When Cora moved, the stare adjusted. It was not at the wall. It was not at the window. It was oriented consistently and specifically around Cora's head. Her mother, Vashti, noticed it on Tuesday and said nothing because there was nothing specific to say. The dog was looking at the child. Dogs look at children. On Wednesday, she mentioned it to her husband, Finn, who watched Frost for 20 minutes that evening and said, "There's something strange about his eyes." On Thursday, Vashti watched Frost track something near Cora's right temple, while Cora ate crackers and narrated the crackers and was completely unaware that the dog was watching the space around her head. Cora started having headaches on Friday. Not the kind of headaches a 2-year-old has words for. The kind that expressed as pressing both palms flat against the sides of her head and saying, "It's loud, mama," but there was no loud. The kind that came with brief moments of stillness, so unlike Cora's usual energy that the first time it happened, Finn walked to her and crouched down and looked at her face. She blinked at him. Then she went back to talking about crackers. Frost stood behind her during these moments and his pale eyes did not waver from the space near her head. On Saturday morning, Cora had one of the stillness moments in the kitchen, and she swayed slightly before she caught herself on the table edge. Vashti had her coat and keys before she had finished thinking the thought. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. The ER sent them to imaging. Dr. Yale Bernstein, pediatric neurology, reviewed the MRI with them in a small office that smelled of printer paper and took 40 minutes to explain something that Vashti could not hold in her head all at once. Cora had a small arteriovenous malformation, an abnormal tangle of blood vessels on the right side of her brain, near her right temple. Not caused by anything. Not the result of anything they had done or not done. Present from birth. Silent until it wasn't. The headaches were a symptom. The swaying was a symptom. The silence was a symptom. The prognosis with intervention was good. The prognosis without early detection was something Dr. Bernstein did not state directly, but the timeline she laid out told the story clearly enough. "We caught this at the right moment," she said. "Typically, these present more dramatically. You came in earlier than most. What made you bring her in?" the resident asked. Vashti looked at Finn. "The dog," Finn said. The resident wrote something down and did not look up. "Has your dog ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments." These stories deserve to be heard. What Frost had been detecting, the neurological team later explained, was almost certainly the electromagnetic or pressure-related signature of vascular abnormality. Some dogs demonstrate sensitivity to the subtle physiological changes that accompany intracranial pressure variation. The fact that he consistently tracked the right side of Cora's head, the side of the malformation, was not a coincidence anyone in that consultation room was willing to call coincidence. He had been pointing at it, in the only language he had, for 5 days. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Cora's procedure was scheduled 3 weeks later. It went well. She came home talking about the hospital crackers, which she felt were suboptimal. Frost met her at the door, pressed his nose briefly to her right temple, and then lay down on the entryway rug in the satisfied way of an animal whose work has been received. He did not track the space near her head again. Whatever he had been watching had been addressed. The next story involves a golden retriever stationed at a high chair every mealtime for a week, and the seizure that almost happened over breakfast.